Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. In the previous videos we learned how to factorize quadratic trinomials. If you missed those videos, I encourage you to check them out. I can put the link to them in the description. This video is going to be all about practicing what we've learned so far. Alright, so let's start with this example here. We have 7x squared plus 9x plus 2. How do we factorize this? Well, first of all, we got to notice that this comes in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, and so it's a quadratic trinomial. All right, and notice the number that is in front of x squared is 7. Basically, a is equal to 7 in this case. B, which is basically the number in front of x, is 9 in this case. And c is just equal to 2. All right, so the first thing we should try to do when we're factorizing is, we try to look for any common factors. And in this case, it doesn't look like we can pull out any useful factor. All right, so it looks like we're just going to use the splitting the term method, since a is not equal to 1. Okay, so we're going to look for two numbers that add up, that have a sum of b, basically 9 in this case, and a product of a times c. And a in this case is 7, c is 2, so a product of 7 times 2, which is just equal to 14. Okay, so what two numbers add up to 9 and also multiply to 14? Well, the product is positive, which tells us that the two numbers we're looking for must share the same sign. And the sum is positive too, which means that both numbers we're looking for must be positive. Okay, so let's only consider the positive factors of 14 and see which ones add up to 9. Okay, so what do we multiply to get 14? From the positive numbers. 1 times 14 is a possibility. 2 times 7. And that's it. Right, so which set of numbers here adds up to 9? Well, 1 and 14 add up to 15, so that's not good. 2 and 7 add up to 9 and also multiply to 14. That is perfect. So these are the two numbers that we're looking for. Okay, so now let's make up a little bit of space and let's remember our numbers, 7 and 2. Okay, so just make a little bit of space. And now let's split the middle term into the numbers that we found. All right, again, 7 and 2. So 7x squared plus, and that is the middle term, so we're going to split it into 7x. Remember, 7 is one of the numbers we found, and 2x, which is the other number we found. Okay, and then plus 2. And now we're going to factorize by grouping. We're going to group those two terms together and those two terms together. And we're going to factorize each group. So here we could pull out a 7x. Now 7x times what gives me 7x squared? Well, only an x is missing. And 7x times what gives me 7x? Just 1, so positive 1. Sorry about that, positive 1. Okay, and then plus, here we could pull out a 2. 2 times what gives me 2x, just x. There's a positive plus. And then 2 times what gives me 2, just 1. Now notice both terms here have x plus 1 in them, so we could pull it out. Okay, and let me just highlight this. So x plus 1 here, and x plus 1 here, and what remains after we pull it out is 7x plus 2. Okay, so let's open up a new set of brackets. Now since we pulled out the x plus 1, what remains is 7x plus 2. Okay, and we're done. We factorized this expression. Okay, so that's it. All right, so let's do another example. Let's factorize negative x squared plus 2x plus 48. Okay, notice now that a is equal to negative 1, b is equal to positive 2, and c is equal to 48. Now, Oh, my pen just went crazy. Okay, 48. Okay, so in this case, a is not equal to 1. So maybe we should do splitting the term. Maybe we should split the term, use that method. But in fact, here we can factorize. We can make it a little bit easier. If a is equal to 1, if you have a quadratic trinomial that you're trying to factorize and a is equal to 1, the job is much easier. Okay, so let's see if we can actually make a equal to 1 here. And it turns out we can, right? We can just pull out the negative sign and we open up brackets and we keep in x squared minus 2x now minus 48. Okay, I need to make a little bit more space. So x squared minus 2x minus 48. Okay, now we can factorize this expression separately. All right, so we just pull out the negative, and now let's just factorize this expression. Okay, so we're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 48 and add up to negative 2. Okay, so sum is negative 2, and product is negative 48. And at the top of my head, the two numbers that jump to me are negative 8 and 6. Those two numbers add up to negative 2 and multiply to negative 48. So negative 8 and 6. And trust me, guys, with practice, those numbers will come a lot quicker. All right, so we're going to open up two sets of brackets. And let me actually put it down here. So negative, and we open up two sets of brackets. And we keep an x in both to get our x squared. And we fill in the gaps with the numbers that we found, which are negative 8 and 6. Negative 8 and positive 6. And we're done. All right, so that's it. All right, so let's try another example. Let's factorize 14x squared plus 37x plus 5. Okay, so let's just list out what a, b, and c here are. So a is equal to 14, b is equal to 37, and c is equal to 5. Okay, so the first thing we should try to look for is any common factors, and it, to me, doesn't seem like we can pull out any useful common factor here. Okay, and since a is not equal to 1, we're going to have to split the middle term. All right, so we're going to look for two numbers that have a sum of 37 and a product of a times c, and a in this case is 14, c is 5, so 14 times 5, which is just equal to 70. Okay, now since the product is positive, we know that the two numbers we're looking for share the same sign. Since the sum is positive, we know that the two numbers must be positive. Okay, so let's list out the positive factors of 70. So what do we multiply to get 70? 1 times 70. 2 times 35. And we could go on, but it seems like we found the set we're looking for. Those are the two numbers that add up to 37 and multiply to 70. So that's perfect. Okay, so we could, although we could go on, it's not necessary. All right, so let's just make up some space now and split the middle term. All right, so let's just remove this. And let's split the middle term into the two numbers that we found, which are 35 and 2. So 14x squared plus 2x plus 35x. Oh, yeah, 35x, sorry. 35x plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to group those two terms together and those two terms together. Here we can factor out a 2x. 2x times y gives me 14x squared, just 7x. 2x times y gives me 2x, just 1. Plus, here we could pull out a 5. 5 times y gives me 35x, just 7x. and 5 times what gives me 5, just 1. And notice now both terms have 7x plus 1 as a common factor. So we could pull that out, and notice what remains is 2x plus 5. Okay, so let's pull out the 7x plus 1. Oh, 7x plus 1, and what remains is 2x plus 5. Just keep those inside a set of brackets. All right, and we're done. We're done with factorizing this. All right, so I hope that made sense. Let's try one more example. Let's factorize negative 2x squared plus 14x minus 24. So a in this case is equal to negative 2, b is equal to 14, and c is equal to negative 24. So can we pull out any common factor here? And the answer is yes. They all have 2 in them. And in fact, they all have negative 2 in them, right? Because 14x is the same thing as negative 2 times negative 7x. Okay, so they all have a negative in them. And why do I want to pull out negative 2 instead of 2? Well, because if I pull out a 2, notice that what remains is negative x squared. And I don't want that number in front of x squared to be negative. I'd like to simplify it to positive 1, because then the expression becomes easy to factorize. Okay, so let's pull out a negative 2. And we have x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, and now this expression is easy to factorize because there is 1 in front of the x squared. All right, so we're going to look for 2 numbers that have a sum of b, which is negative 7, and a product of c, which is 12. Okay, we could also say a product of a times c, just as we did when a is not equal to 1. But notice a is equal to 1, so a times c is the same thing as 1 times c, which is just equal to c, which is just 12 in this case. All right, so what are the 2 numbers that multiply to 12 and add up to negative 7? Well, the product is positive, so both numbers share the same sign, and the sum is negative, which means that the 2 numbers we're looking for must be negative. So let's consider the negative factors of 12. What do we multiply to get? 12 from the negative factors. Negative 1 times negative 12 is a possibility. Negative 2 times negative 6. Negative 3 times negative 4. And it seems like that's it. Right? So which set here adds up to negative 7? Well, negative 1, negative 12, they add up to negative 13, so that's not good. Negative 2 and negative 6 add up to negative 8, very close, but not quite. Finally, negative 3 and negative 4, that's perfect. Those are the 2 numbers we're looking for. So negative 2, and now we open up 2 sets of brackets, both of which we put an x in to get our x squared. Okay, and then we fill in the gaps with the numbers that we found, which are negative 3 and negative 4. So negative 3 and negative 4. And we are done. That's it. Okay, so I hope that made sense. And now I'm going to give you a bunch of examples that you can practice on your own. So take the time to do them, pause the video, and when you come back, I'm going to give you the answers. All right, so let me just erase what's on the board now. And let me paste the questions that I've prepared. Okay, so I encourage you to pause the video and try to factorize these expressions, and in a little bit I'm going to give you the answers. Okay, so I hope you pause the video and try to go through them. The first answer here, the first expression can be factorized into 2x plus 3 multiplied by x plus 7. Okay, the second one here can be factorized into 5x minus 3 times 3x plus 2 This third one can be factorized into 2x plus 5 multiplied by x plus 1. This fourth one over here can be factorized into 3x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 2. The fifth one is 5x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 1. And the final one is just x minus 7 multiplied by x minus 4. Okay, so I hope you got them right. I hope that was good practice for you guys, and I hope I helped you understand how to factorize quadratic trinomials. All right, so as usual, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful, and that's it. I will see you next time.